we're talking about snakes. Dozens of snakes were released into the wild in North Florida to eat other invasive snakes.
Two tiny shapes on a grainy camera screen just rewrote the history of the Florida Everglades. These are wild-born eastern indigo snake hatchlings, and their appearance is a key detail that has left officials stunned. It is the first time anyone has seen this in over 40 years. Scientists thought it would take decades more to see this kind of recovery. But as the footage played, it became clear that nature is starting to fight back in a way that against all logic seems to be working. And get this, the real kicker is that these tiny snakes are just the first wave. Trail cam clips shake Florida officials. Everyone is obsessed with the Burmese pythons that have taken over the swamp and eaten almost every small mammal in sight. But then everything changed when a researcher named Hoffman sat down to check the latest footage. She was looking at a place called the Appalachian Bluffs and Ravines Preserve. This area is full of deep sand and longleaf pine trees. It is a beautiful part of the state, but it has been missing a key piece of its soul for a very long time. As the video played, Hoffman saw something that made her heart stop. Two tiny snakes were crawling across the forest floor. At first glance, they might have looked like any other reptile, but these were eastern indigo snakes, and they were hatchlings. This is a key detail because no one has seen wild-born indigo snakes in this part of Florida for more than 40 years. These snakes are not just any animals, they are the longest native snakes in North America. They can grow to be over 8 feet long, and they have beautiful blue-black scales that shine in the sun. For years, people have been releasing captive-bred snakes into the wild, hoping they would survive. But nobody could confirm if they were actually having babies. Seeing these two tiny hatchlings proved that the snakes are not just surviving, they are thriving. This is where the story takes a hard left, though. The researchers knew that if these snakes were breeding, it meant the entire forest was starting to heal. They had spent years planting longleaf pines and taking care of gopher tortoises. See, gopher tortoises are like the landlords of the forest. They dig deep holes in the sand that are sometimes 30 feet long. Over 300 different species use these holes to stay safe from fire and heat. The indigo snakes need these holes to survive. When the footage showed the hatchlings near a tortoise burrow, the team realized their hard work was paying off. One official named Brad O'Hanlon from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission called it a gold standard moment. It was a sign that the ecosystem was finally functioning on its own again. But there was a catch they didn't see coming. While everyone was cheering for the baby snakes, they had to remember why they were so important in the first place. These snakes are basically biological weapons against the invasive species that have been ruining the state. The pythons have been a nightmare for Florida. They have wiped out 99% of the raccoons and opossums in some parts of the Everglades. But the indigo snake is different. It is built to fight. It is a specialized hunter that does not care about venom or size. The discovery of these hatchlings means that a new generation of native predators is now on the ground and ready to work. It was a moment of pure triumph for the people who have spent their lives trying to bring balance back to the swamp. But these snakes have a secret skill that changes everything. Apex predators rising from the mud. Eastern indigo snakes are not just impressive to look at, they are absolute units when it comes to hunting. Most people are terrified of rattlesnakes and copperheads, but for an indigo snake, those are just dinner. These native snakes are completely immune to the venom of pit vipers. This is a key detail because it means they can go into places other animals avoid. They are known to grab a rattlesnake by the head and swallow it whole while it is still trying to bite them. Because they are so large and powerful, they are the perfect candidates to help push back against the python invasion. While a 20-foot python is a massive problem, the indigo snakes can target the smaller pythons before they get big enough to cause real trouble. So here's the deal. If Florida can get a large population of indigo snakes back into the wild, they act like a natural security force. They protect the gopher tortoise burrows and keep the balance of power from shifting too far toward the invaders. The crazy part is how fast these snakes can move and how much they need to eat to stay healthy. They have a high metabolism, which means they are constantly on the hunt. In the past, humans destroyed their homes by building roads and houses over the sandy ridges they love. They also suffered because people used to pour gasoline into tortoise burrows to force snakes out, which is something that luckily does not happen much anymore. Fast forward to the part where the state started the reintroduction program. They have been releasing dozens of snakes every year from the Oriane Center for Indigo Conservation. But until that footage showed up, no one was sure if the plan was working. Now that we know they are breeding, the stakes are even higher. These snakes represent hope for a state that has been losing its wildlife at an alarming rate. If the longest snake in the country can make a comeback, then maybe the rest of the Everglades has a chance too. One of the most overlooked aspects of this story is how the native animals are starting to adapt on their own. It is not just the snakes. Researchers have found that even bobcats are starting to change their behavior. In one documented case, a 25-pound bobcat was seen taking down a 52-pound python. It was a brutal fight, but the bobcat won. This shows that the native species are learning how to deal with the invaders. Adding the indigo snakes back into the mix is like giving the home team a star player. These snakes can navigate the thick brush and the deep burrows where pythons like to hide. They are the precision tools that Florida needs to win this war. But just when it looked like the tide was turning, a new problem appeared on the radar. It turns out that the pythons did not come alone. They brought something with them that is even harder to catch than a giant snake. But a new invisible threat is already moving faster than anyone expected. Deadly lungworms bypass python lines. The real kicker in this whole story is a tiny parasite that nobody saw coming. It is called a lungworm, and it originally came from the Burmese pythons. In their home in Southeast Asia, these parasites do not really hurt the pythons much. They have lived together for a long time, so the pythons are used to them. But here is the part that everyone misses. When these pythons arrived in Florida, they brought the lungworms with them. Now those parasites are jumping from the pythons into the native snakes like the eastern indigo. And get this, the native snakes have no defense against them. These lungworms are causing massive infections that block the lungs of the snakes and eventually cause them to stop breathing. The unthinkable happened when researchers found that these parasites were moving much faster than the pythons themselves. The parasites use other animals to spread. Cockroaches, frogs, and lizards eat the eggs of the lungworms. Then, when a native snake eats one of those smaller animals, it gets infected. Because these smaller animals move around so much, the parasite has already traveled 211 miles north of where the pythons are currently living. It has been found in at least 35 different counties across Florida. This is a massive caveat to the success of the indigo snake hatchlings. Scientists found at least one dead indigo snake that had been destroyed by these lungworms. It is a race against time to figure out how to stop the spread before it wipes out the very snakes we just brought back from the edge of disappearing. Many are not seeing the truth here because they are only focused on the giant snakes they can see. But the invisible war happening inside the lungs of these animals is just as dangerous. The researchers are now trying to understand if there is any way to treat the wild snakes or if they will eventually develop their own immunity. It is a tough situation because you cannot exactly give medicine to every snake in the woods. This is where the story takes a hard turn toward the technical side. Scientists are collecting data from dozens of native species to see how far the infection has gone. They have already found it in 18 different types of native snakes. Some of these snakes are very rare and could disappear forever if the parasite keeps spreading. The discovery of the hatchlings was a moment of joy, but the realization of the parasite spread was like a punch to the gut. It shows that even when we think we are winning, nature has a way of throwing a new challenge at us. This is not just about a few snakes in the panhandle, this is about the entire health of the state's ecosystem. And this problem is worth much more than just a few lost snakes. Everglades restoration faces new trial. Most people think of the Everglades as just a big swamp full of alligators, but it is actually a $31.5 billion engine that keeps Florida running. It provides the drinking water for millions of people. It protects the state from floods during big storms, and it draws in millions of tourists every year who want to see the wild side of the Sunshine State. If the ecosystem collapses because of invasive species and parasites, that money disappears. That is why the indigo snake hatchlings are so important. They are a sign that the engine is still capable of repairing itself. But the restoration is about more than just animals. It is about the water. For over 100 years, people have been draining the Everglades to build farms and cities. They moved the water away from where it was supposed to go. Now the state is spending billions of dollars to put the water back. This is a key detail because the indigo snakes and the gopher tortoises need the right kind of land to survive. If the land is too wet or too dry, they cannot live there. The success of the snakes in the Panhandle shows that when we fix the land, the animals come back. But the scale of the problem in the main Everglades is much bigger. There are hundreds of thousands of pythons out there. They are eating everything from birds to deer. In Big Cypress, drones and trail cameras have captured images of the swamp fighting back. Alligators are learning how to hunt pythons. Even the plants are starting to react to the changes. But against all logic, the biggest threat is still the loss of the small mammals. Without raccoons and rabbits, the whole food chain falls apart. The indigo snakes help because they eat the things that eat the small mammals. They are part of a complex web that we are only just beginning to understand. The real shocker was how much the economy depends on this balance. If the water stops being filtered by the swamp, the cost of cleaning it for the cities will skyrocket. If the fish die off because the food chain is broken, the fishing industry loses billions. Everyone is obsessed with the big snakes, but the real story is about the survival of the state itself. The hatchling footage gave officials a reason to keep fighting, but it also reminded them how fragile everything is. They have to manage the water, the invasive snakes, and the new parasites all at the same time. It is a massive job that requires thousands of people and a lot of money. But looking back, the discovery of those two tiny hatchlings was the red flag that told everyone we cannot give up now. We have to double down on our efforts to protect what is left. Everything depends on what these officials decide to do next. The fight for the Florida Everglades has reached a critical point. Officials are now balancing the celebration of the new hatchlings with the urgent need to stop the lungworm parasite. They are planning to release 42 more captive-bred indigo snakes over the next year to help boost the population. They are also setting up more cameras and tracking devices to see if more hatchlings appear in other parts of the state. It all came crashing down when they realized that they might have to intervene in a more direct way to save the snakes from the parasites. This could mean developing new ways to manage the animals or even finding a way to limit the spread of the infection through the food chain. It is a complicated puzzle with no easy answers. Two wild hatchlings changed the game for Florida conservation. Can the Everglades truly recover before the invisible parasites finish what the pythons started? Let us know your thoughts below. Like and subscribe for more.